Whenever I say that error sænz originate from Aftertale, no one really believes me. So what exactly is the story of Aftertale, so that you can finally believe me that Aftertale does come from the Aftertale universe? Aftertale is an alternative timeline, created by Lover of Piggy, better known as Crayon Queen on Tumblr. The story opens with the death of sænz in the corridor, followed by a scene of him waking up in an absolute panic. It marks the beginning of a new day, a new timeline, one where sænz, shaken by a nightmare, wakes Papyrus. However, rather than revealing the full extent of his fear, sænz dismisses the nightmare as it's insignificant. The day proceeds as expected. The brothers walk to their station with Papyrus, reminding sænz not to slack off, which of course sænz promptly ignores. But it seems like today is the day. Today, sænz finds a human, and when he goes to the human to greet them with the whooping cushion trick, he immediately sees the face of the person that killed him in his last nightmare, and he has somewhat of a panic attack. But anyways, he tries his best to play it over and play it cool by making some jokes and hiding the human behind the conveniently shaped lamp, while also giving the human his coat to keep the human warm, while carrying the human towards Papyrus, where Papyrus tells sænz to capture the human, and together sænz and Papyrus capture the human and bring them to the makeshift prison cell that Papyrus made when he would capture a human, while also feeding the human dog food in an attempt to protect the human from freezing to death, and also to keep them safe, and also to keep them captured before Undertale can grab them and bring them to Asgore. But Papyrus has a bad feeling about this, since he knows Undertale will bring the human to Asgore, and while he doesn't know what exactly Asgore would do, he feels like when he brings them to Asgore something bad would happen to the human, and he starts to like the human. But sænz tells him that his brother would know best what to do in this situation, and anyways, the human is already gone, so he needs to catch the human once again. Papyrus is confused by this, but sees then behind him that the human escaped from their prison cell. Papyrus follows the human. While Papyrus is hunting the human, sænz looks behind him and sees a yellow flower that looks at him while immediately goes underground to hide from sænz. Sænz is confused by this, but at first doesn't think much about it. We fast forward and we see sænz dreams about a dream, where sænz is now in the lab together with Undertale and Alphys. Undertale and Alphys discuss their next move while witnessing the devastation that the human now commits. The human continues their killings in Waterfall and killed a lot of monsters. Undertale notices that sænz seems emotionally shattered, approached him before engaging in her legendary battle against the human, hoping to restore his will to fight. However, sænz, too overwhelmed by despair, coldly pushes her away. The scenes take an unexpected turn just as the audience anticipates a breakdown. Sænz suddenly shifts back to his usual demeanor, delivering a pun with a smile. The emotional whiplash emphasizes the depth of his suffering, constellating beneath the layer of indifference and humor. As the nightmares continue, sænz watches the camera feeds in Snowdin, seemingly torturing himself by replaying the footage of his brother's death over and over again. But it seems like all of this was just another nightmare, since in the next scene we see sænz waking up while burning in blue light, completely distressed of what he just saw. Papyrus comforts sænz, but is unsure of what exactly is happening with sænz. He is scared of what exactly happening with sænz, and he is concerned of what actually happens to sænz. So he gives sænz the opportunity to stay with him in his bed, so that he can look after sænz while he is having these nightmares. Sænz doesn't want Papyrus to be burdened by his problems, so he decides to go to Grilby's. But when Papyrus notes that the human is also in his room, sænz makes a 180 and decides to go to Papyrus' room, since the nightmare of the human killing Papyrus is still fresh in his mind, and he fears that this human would do the same thing. So he goes to Papyrus' rooms and reads both the human and Papyrus a good night story of Fluffy Buff, while he decides to sleep on the floor. This of course he tells Papyrus, but in reality sænz just sits there awake with his blue magic intact and waits for the human to do something stupid. And if the human does something stupid, he would be ready to strike the human down. And so ends the first part of Aftertale. If you want more, please like and subscribe to my channel, so that I will make the second part. Goodbye for now.